am Fletcher Brown, live with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Please welcome for the very first time in Kicks Country, and she was smart enough to bring mimosas. May I? Please welcome Tristan Mcintosh. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right.
A little tired, but how are you?
I'm better now that I've got a mimosa.
Man, get a little perkier now.
I would say this is the first time ever in the history of the artist video blog that I've had a mimosa while interviewing.
I love that.
Yeah. So
Be real relaxed over here.
I think that, nudge, nudge, wink, wink to all of you who come to visit in the future. Mimosas are the way to my heart. So now, Tristan, let's talk a little bit about where you're from originally. We're going to get to like all of the big things that folks probably, if you recognize his face, there's a reason. But let's talk about where you come from. Let's talk about growing up and where is it that you hail from?
So I'm from Pleasant View, Tennessee.
Okay.
Pleasant View it's right in between Nashville and Clarksville.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do music in Nashville, and my mom's in the military base in Clarksville. So it's like the perfect midpoint between the two.
I'll say. So you grew up like pretty much right in the heart of music, country music.
Yes.
You kind of grew up with all of that whole scene. Did you get to Nashville a lot growing up as a kid?
Oh, yes, all the time. I went to school like in Nashville.
Oh, okay. So like, was it part of your childhood to regularly go to like things like, Fanfare, which became CMA Music Fest and all that good stuff? So who then, as you were growing up, who were some of the artists that you looked up to the most?
As a kid, I was a huge Martina McBride fan. Like, I always loved Martina. Rascal Flatts was also a favorite of mine. Just great vocalists in general. Like, I love that. But I also have influences that are outside of country as well. Like, a big influence of mine was Alicia Keys, because I'm a piano player.
Yeah. Now, you've actually, in the intervening years, you've actually gotten to work with some really, really impressive names on the producer side, and we'll get to that in a minute. But at what point did you say that I'm going to be a singer, I'm going to be an artist, and I want to audition for American Idol?
So when I was 9 years old, my mom heard me singing around the house, and she was like, "It's kind of good, it's your kid, like you're like promising." So she took me to like a vocal coach, and she was like, "Tell me if my daughter has talent. If not, don't waste my time and my money." Her exact words.
I can respect that.
Like, they could have been like, "No," and I would never be here today, but they were like, "Yeah, she's good." And so ever since then, I've been taking lessons, and eventually it became a passion. It wasn't something that I was passionate about when I started, but as my passion grew for it through doing music, I love what I do. So
okay, so mom was kind of the precursor of this whole thing. She was just like, she got to listen, like, "Baby girl, okay," and took you and had somebody kind of grow your talent.
Yes.
All right, so flash forward a few years, and at the tender young age of 15, you were on American Idol. What was that like at that age?
Shoot. Very stressful.
Okay.
That's a given. But I think it was it was a wonderful opportunity for me as an artist in Nashville, because it's so hard to get ground being so young. Like 15, nobody's going to take you seriously. Like, unfortunately, like, as much as, you think they would, they don't. So being on American Idol afterwards, I got a lot more, like, people would take me seriously. I was able to write with a bunch of really cool people, and I love the opportunities that I got out of it, but the experience itself was very stressful. I was really young, got very behind on schoolwork, but I made some really good friends, and I had a good experience, like, overall.
All right, now you were I mentioned you, if you recognize his face, there's a reason. 2016 was the year, right before it jumped networks. She was on American Idol. Who were your judges?
Yeah, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., and J-Lo.
Wow, so you were there with like Harry Connick Jr.? He's one of my favorites.
He was the nicest. He was so nice.
I believe it. Which judge did he mentor you, or did any of the judges, did they do any of the mentoring or anything like that?
It's not like The Voice where they do mentoring. Like, we barely spent any time with the judges, except when they were judging us. We had one time where we got to like have 3 minutes, like literally it was timed, like 3 minutes, where we would just go in and have a conversation with them, and that happened one time. That was the only.
Was it hard? I mean, I'm saying that because you were 15, you'd only been singing a few years, and usually the people that we see on American Idol, they tend to be late teens, early 20s. It's like, but you were so very young. Were you like starstruck with like J-Lo in the room or Keith Urban in the room? When like, was it something that just made you nervous and almost unable to actually, or did you find that that bolstered your confidence and your ability to sing and perform?
When I mean, being young, it's just kind of an out of body experience because sometimes it feels like I wasn't even there. But when when I did do it, it is actually it's just so scary.
Yeah.
But you kind of just gotta push through it. And throughout the years, I've definitely you know, gone through that a bunch of times, like feeling fearful. But now the fear goes away within like a couple seconds when you start to sing because then it just kind of channels all of that.
Well, when you're a live performer, I think all of us who've ever done anything in front of a large group of people, we always have that energy that comes up at the very beginning, right before you know the lights come on and the microphones are on, and you're performing those butterflies. But those really just kind of ramp you up for the performance. But here we are, we're almost, but not quite a decade past your turn on America. Yes, I know. Believe me,
God.
it only gets worse. It only gets worse.
I don't.
Past your time on American Idol, and you have now released a debut single to country radio, and you've got an album. Now the song is, appropriately enough, Champagne Rampage, which is why we're drinking
Yes,
mimosas.
very appropriate.
But you don't have to have a song called Champagne Rampage to bring me a mimosa that I can spill all over myself. I get really excited at champagne. So talk to us a little bit now. Is this a song that you wrote?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Who did you write it with?
I wrote this song with Leslie Satcher.
Oh, okay.
And, Nathan Chapman.
Okay. So you've made a number of relationships in Nashville. Did it take all of those years from American Idol to now to really kind of cultivate those relationships? Or was there a moment when someone just said, you need to meet all of these people?
It was kind of just when you get off of Idol, basically you do the whole Nashville thing. That's kind of what they call it, where you go into a bunch of rooms, meet a bunch of people you never knew before, try and write a song. And like I did that for probably a year, where there was an agency, they would set me up with like people to write songs with, because basically what you want to do is write songs, release music, and then start touring. But I did that, I did that for a while. I had a couple songs that I liked. I never really like recorded them and put them on the internet, but I had a couple CDs that I would sell. But I got placed with a producer after that. We kind of went a different direction from country at that point, but it just never felt 100% right. So it's just been a lot of back and forth for a while trying to figure out what it is truly that I wanted to do. But country is always, that's been my base, and it's what I've always come back to, even though there's always been a bit of resistance. It's always what I have wanted to do.
That's a beautiful thing though, when you know who you are, you know, it's like when you know what brought you to this thing that you do, and you're like, country music brought me here, this is what I want to do, and people are going, no, you should do this.
Exactly.
And yeah, but you're like, no, I want to do that. I want to walk in the footsteps of my idols like Martina McBride. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a beautiful thing that you recognize that, and that you push for that, and that you say, I'm going to define what it is that I do and who it is that I become. So now the song Champagne Rampage, this is your debut single to country radio. You co-wrote this with Leslie Satcher, who's obviously a big songwriter name in Nashville. So you're in good company. Who produced it?
Champagne Rampage, who produced it. We have, why am I blanking right now?
I saw the name Kent Wells at one point.
Kent Wells.
Okay, yes.
I cannot believe
because
we blanked on that.
I wanted to say, because it's like Kent, everybody
Yes.
knows coming Dolly. I mean, you can't go wrong
I
with
mean,
Kent
he literally
Wells.
just produced the new Dolly album.
Yes.
The one with all of the rock features.
Exactly.
Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, and I always want to give props to Kent Wells whenever, you know, we've got somebody who has.
Oh, you've had other people?
Oh yeah, I mean Kent Wells over the
Okay.
years, we've had a number of people that have come through that have had turns with Kent Wells producing them, and so I always want to give props to Kent Wells, because I mean he is obviously a legendary Nashville producer.
Absolutely.
You are in such amazing company. Working with someone like Kent, what would you say your greatest takeaway was from working with a producer like him?
With him, he was just so like, he kind of just had it all together. It took them maybe like 3 takes to record that song, which is insane because it doesn't really sound like it would take 3 takes. But he just basically recorded everything and then was like, all right, you record this again, you record this again. It was just crazy how he just like knows everything. But what I took away from it, I mean, it's just being in the room with somebody who has that much like gravitas. It's more of a feeling than I think something tangible that you could take away from it.
Absolutely. All right. So for the listeners who are hearing us talk about this, but have not heard the song yet, Champagne Rampage, what is that song about? I mean, you co-wrote it, so you are the best person to tell us What is that song?
Okay. So Champagne Rampage, very simply put, is the scenario if your ex showed up to your wedding. And not your cool ex, the the absolutely unhinged one.
So wait a minute. So basically what you're telling me is like, this is the other side of Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places.
Yes.
This is the bride side.
I heard that song the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, this reminds me of Champagne Rampage.
It's the bride side. You know, your ex showed up at the wedding. You know, he showed up in boots. Yeah, so, where did it come from? I mean, why this though?
So, I wrote that song when I was 16.
Okay.
And it really just came from, I like to start with titles. They just come to me and I'll write them down in my notes. And we were just going through ideas of what we could write that day. And I was like, what about Champagne Rampage? It was just like an idea I had randomly. I thought the title was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, that's actually awesome. We formed a whole story around the title.
Okay. And so the single is out now, Champagne Rampage. Now, are you still working on the album? Is that done?
We're still working on the album. We've got a couple other songs recorded, but they're not going to be released quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of them are going to be part of the album.
Mm-hmm.
But very excited. Probably going to come out not this year, but next year. But we'll definitely have another single by the end of this year.
All right. Well, other places you can look for Tristan is you were actually in the Sam Hunt video for 23, right?
Yes.
Which is actually, if I had a favorite Sam Hunt song, it would be that song.
Love that song.
That's a great song.
Yes.
Really?
The video is beautiful too. I mean, not just because I'm in it, but no, it's like a gorgeous, gorgeously shot. I mean, I had to learn how to roller skate in a week. And they made me roller skate with my eyes closed and my hands in the air. And I was
That's dangerous.
I was praying. I was like, I'm just praying that I don't trip and fall because I don't know how to skate that well.
Yeah, I would. You're not putting wheels on my feet. That would not be good. That would not work.
Definitely not closing your eyes.
You also sing the theme. Is it AEW wrestling?
Yes.
All right. So I'm not a wrestling person. Don't get mad at me. I mean, I got a lot of friends who are wrestling people. I respect you, but I'm not a wrestling. The AEW. What is that? And if
so AEW is kind of like WWE's competitor.
Okay.
They have.
Oh, that's the other side. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
They have just really cool matches and cool costumes, cool characters.
And you sing like what, their theme song, or how? Where does your music fall into AEW?
So I've done a couple things for them, but one was the Women's Heels unit. We did a theme song called "Digging in My Heels," and then we did another somebody else's walk-up music called "No Control."
Okay.
It's very it's not very country. It's very hard, heavy rock music.
Well, I don't imagine it would be in wrestling, but you
Yeah.
know. So if you're a wrestling fan, look for that there. You also do a lot of TikTok. You're part of that whole TikTok generation. There was something with you and Alicia Keys on TikTok. What was that?
Oh yeah, so quite a couple of years ago, I had written like a melody on piano, and I was like, this is really good. I was like, this sounds like something Alicia Keys would write. So I just posted it on TikTok. I was like, y'all, tag Alicia Keys. I feel like she would be awesome with this piano melody. And she duetted it and sang like some lyrics to the song. So
wow.
Technically, I've written a song with Alicia Keys. You don't got to look very
much
further into that.
I love it. I think you definitely need to lead with that. I wrote a song with Alicia Keys. Just lean into that. Seriously. Tristan Mcintosh is our guest. Champagne Rampage is the single. If you want to hear it, please call us at Kicks 96. We will gladly play it for you. And Tristan, if there's somebody out there who is like, now I need to learn everything I possibly can about Tristan and follow her career from now until the end of time, where do folks find you on the internet?
Oh man, you can find me at Tristan Mcintosh on Facebook or Tris Mcintosh on TikTok and Instagram. That's usually where you can find anything else, any links, any other external media that you would want to see.
Okay, and
tour dates.
Be sure and look for Champagne Rampage and new music coming soon. Also, you got another single coming really soon.
It's not in distribution yet.
No.
But we do have another single coming up.
It's
soon.
out there on the horizon. Look
I
to
may
the
play
east.
it. I may play it.
She might. I was going to say we're going to look for a live performance from her elsewhere on our YouTube channel. And Tristan, thank you so much for visiting us.
No, I love it. Thank you for having me.
Well, you are just right there, just north of us. So, you come on down here to the Shoals whenever you want to.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I love Muscle Shows.
Have you ever been here before?
I've been a ton of times.
Really?
I love Florence. Beautiful.
Oh, that's okay. So now, real quick aside, where are some of your favorite places in the Shoals area?
I went to, it's like the Leonard Skinner, is it a museum?
Oh, the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Alabama Music Hall of Fame in
yes,
Tuscaloosa?
yes.
Okay. Have you been to the Fame Studios or Muscle Shoals Sound Studios yet?
I went to I'm not sure which studio I went to, but I did go to one.
Which
of the
one?
studios
Was it
down
like the
there.
little gray brick building? Or was it the big building?
It's a big building.
The big building next to the pharmacy? Like in the busy intersection? Or was
It was
it just
pretty
off?
busy, yeah.
All right, that would have been Fame.
Okay.
All right, that's the
yes.
one that's in Muscle
Fame.
Shoals. That's right there in the busy intersection on Avalon. The Muscle Shoals Sound is 3614 Jackson Highway. Little tiny nondescript gray brick building. If you didn't know,
It's very nondescript.
yeah, if you didn't know what it was, you would pass right by it. But we'd love to have you down here because it's like, obviously the Shoals has this amazing music history.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's wonderful. So we're really happy to have you down here. We're happy you live just right up north of
Not
us here.
even that
So
far.
yeah, we're a day trip. All right. So Tristan Mcintosh is our guest. Champagne Rampage is the single. Look for it here on Kicks 96, and look for her out there on TikTok and all the places. And Tristan, thank you for being here.
No, it is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll see you next time on another artist video blog, Kicks96country.com.
She's going on a ship.